Hey, welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. Remember crayons? I mean, these are the go-to tool for kids. And to be honest, I don't really understand why they are only for kids. I recently rediscovered them and I'm having so much fun with these in my sketchbook. So today I want to do some colorful playing in my sketchbook, and I hope you will draw along with me. If you don't have crayons, you don't need to go and buy these if you don't want to. Just look in your art supply stash. See whatever colorful stuff you have. I'm sure you have a set of colored pencils, for example. You can totally use that today too. Let's make some colorful art. I put some things together here on the table, including the coffee I'm drinking and the mug of herbal tea to keep me hydrated. Caffeine and hydration, very important when making art. Now, where to start? I'm not thinking about it too much, so I just pick the brightest color I see to begin with. I will draw the shape of the orange and we'll worry about its texture and details all later. First, I just want to draw the outlines of the main shapes of my still life. I'm picking the colors that I feel resemble the still life best. And I can also combine colors of my crayons later too. Because I am right-handed, I work my way from the upper left to the lower right, so I don't smudge the colors with my hand. And then later on, I can jump around a little bit to add more texture and contrast if I need to. Now that I have drawn all parts of this still life, I want to add more color to all these white spaces. The bright red of the pepper is so gorgeous and its skin is quite shiny, so I make sure to leave some of the white of the paper for highlights. See how effective that is? I also have a darker red here to add a bit of shading. And with a little bit of orange, I can bring some more life to the bright red. I am not quite sure what I'm doing with the orange here. I want to capture its texture, but it's kind of tricky as I already colored a big part of it. So I will just try and add a bit of texture with the orange crayon, and actually the pink crayon kind of works. I'm just experimenting as I go and I am learning. I should have left more white, and maybe if I would have started with a yellow instead of orange, I could have captured the texture of the skin more accurate. But I think it's not that bad at all. I even left a small highlight, which means I didn't overdo it. I'm adding some red in the shaded area, and to make it a little less hard, I soften it with a light yellow. I'm just all making this up as I go. I won't touch this anymore because then I will probably overwork it while trying to fix things. The skin of the avocado is so interesting. And actually just now from coloring the orange, I learned I should be careful and I will just make some marks, building those up in a few layers until it looks right. Again, the highlights are important here. It's fascinating that there isn't really a name of the color this avocado's skin has. It's dark brownish, but I see kind of a warm purple in it too. So I carefully add that to the mix of marks. I feel like the shaded areas can use a little bit extra, so I'm adding a little bit of blue. Not too much though, just a few marks to suggest a cooler, darker area. Now, let's give that mug a bit more of a story too. With crayons, you can't really go into detail, but I do want to add the letters inside the mug. I'm not even going to try to mimic the type though. I'm very satisfied if this turns out even slightly legible. The coffee cup is my favorite cup for drinking coffee, by the way. When you're choosing things to draw, it helps to pick favorite things because that way you bring even more joy in the process than the drawing itself already is. I want to add some drop shadow too. I could go for a safe gray, but I want this drawing to be as colorful as possible, so I am making a bold decision by choosing this beautiful teal color. And actually, it works really well. I do feel like this still life needs a bit of context, and I can do that by adding the edge of the table, that's all. I will use the ochre that I also used for the crema on the coffee, because when you repeat a color elsewhere in your drawing, you can bring in more balance. I love how you can make a super fun, brightly colored piece of art out of a seemingly dull, insignificant little still life. Yay! Take out your crayons and play. Experiment, have fun, don't worry about the result. Just make marks and use a lot of color. And if you'd like to share what you make, I would love to see it. Then use the hashtag DTT in action when you post on social media. And I'll see you next week. Bye.